Hello and welcome to my NFL playoff predictions, my early NFL playoff predictions. So we already did an early playoff prediction video. I think we've done two already, maybe only one. But here it is again. So this is the most in-depth playoff predictions you're going to get since we went through the entire season week by week, and now we're on the playoff predictions. So let's get right into it. Wild card. We have the Ravens and the Jaguars. So as you can tell, the Texans didn't make it into the playoffs, and the Jaguars got the 4 seed. I could see that happening in the real NFL. I think the Texans probably will get the 4 seed, but we'll see how it shakes out. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens. I think this isn't a surprise to anybody. I can actually see the Jaguars winning this. Just I can see the upset happening. The Jaguars are at home. They did defeat the Chargers in the playoffs that one time when they were at home. I like the Jaguars this year, but the Ravens are they're much more experienced. I can see it being a closer game than most people expect, though. Then we have the Vikings and the Falcons. I am going to take the Falcons in kind of a blowout. I'm going to take them by 14. I just do not like the matchup for the Falcons. I think the Buccaneers should have gotten this spot. They just kind of fell off towards the end of the season. So the Falcons got it. But, it was a battle between the Falcons and the Panthers. If the Panthers got this matchup, it's still a pretty bad matchup to get. I just think the Vikings are going to dominate. Then we have the Broncos and the Chiefs. Take the Chiefs by 7. I like the Chiefs at home in the playoffs, have a lot more experience than the Broncos. Congratulations to the Broncos for making the playoffs, though. But when you have to face the Chiefs in the playoffs, you're just kind of cooked. Then we have the Niners and the Lions in the wild card, which is surprising. This seems more like a divisional matchup or even a championship matchup. I'll take the Lions by 10. I'm glad the 49ers made it, though. If you remember, they started the season 6-0 and then lost 7 straight or 8 straight or something crazy like that. And then won their final 2 to go 10-7. And then the Lions, as you'll see, nobody, even the first seed, nobody got over 11 wins. Like no team in the NFL got over 11 wins, which is pretty crazy. I just think the Lions are at this point in time are a much better team than the 49ers. The 49ers, we just lost too many people on defense. I don't think there's any way we can make up for it unless the Lions defense is super injured like it was last year. I just see the Lions pretty much dominating the 49ers the whole game. I think there'll be stretches where we'll have a chance, but I think the Lions will just run away with it. Then we have the Steelers and the Bills. I'm pretty sure, yeah, last year we had the Bills and the Broncos. I think this will be a similar matchup. It's just, I wouldn't say the Bills will dominate, but the Steelers will get some garbage time touchdowns to make the score look a little closer than it actually is. But at least the Steelers made the playoffs, right? They got 9-8. Mike Tomlin still never has a season below over 500, or below 500, I should say. So yeah, but I think it will be very similar to what we saw last year in the wild card with the Broncos versus the Bills. Then we have the final matchup, I believe, the Cardinals and the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles by 3. I think we'll be closer than most people expect, but I am also very high on the Cardinals this year. But the Eagles, just a more proven team. They just won the Super Bowl. I can see an upset happening here. I'm not going to predict it, though. I'm only going to take the Eagles by 3, though, so I think it will be a lot closer than people think. Then we have the divisional. So we have the Chiefs and the Bills, a classic matchup. I can really see it going either way, but the Bills are at home, so I'm going to take the Bills here. I think, Bills Chiefs matchups are always really good, so it will be another very good matchup. Then we have the Lions and the Eagles, another matchup that actually I don't think Did we see this match? No, we didn't because the Lions got eliminated by the Commanders. I was gonna say a series that we see a lot in the playoffs, but I don't think we've even seen the Lions and the Eagles play yet in the playoffs. So this should be interesting. Still going to take the Eagles at home by 3. I think that it's a very even matchup on paper. Really could go either way, but I'm leaning more towards the Eagles because they're at home, and also because Dan Campbell, you know that the Lions could have the lead in this game, and he's going to go for it on fourth, and then the Eagles are going to capitalize. And I think that's just how the game's going to go. Then we have the Ravens and the Bengals. I was back and forth on this one. Obviously, the Bengals are the 1 seed and they're at home, so I can definitely see them winning this. But then I remembered that the Ravens kind of have their number. Like last year, they beat them twice in the regular season because the Bengals just don't have a defense. So I'm going to have to take the Ravens here. I want to take the Bengals, but I think it will be another shootout. The Bengals offense will do everything they can, but that defense is just not. And then with Shamir Stewart also probably holding out, it's just a disaster in Cincinnati. So I'm going to have the Ravens winning it. Then we have the Vikings and the Rams. I'll take the Rams by 3. We saw this matchup last year in the playoffs, same outcome, the Rams winning it. I think the Rams just have their number. They just win the matchups. I don't think anything's going to change. I think the Vikings potentially could be a better team. I think they have a better defense, but a lot of the times when a team has another team's number, you can usually just tell, look at past matchups. Obviously, that doesn't work every year because the Vikings, every team changes a little bit every year, but I just think that Rams at home, they're just going to get the job done. Then we have the championship game. We have the Ravens and the Bills. Another good matchup. I'll take the Bills by 3, which means finally the Bills will be back in the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Ravens, they've just shown that they choke in the playoffs, plain and simple. Not more I can say about it. Um, you know, I would like to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl, but I just can't predict it because every year I'd like to predict the Ravens in the Super Bowl because I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, but I think the Bills making the Super Bowl is a lot more likely than the Ravens. I know that the Ravens beat the Bills, kind of dominated them last year, at least in the regular season. I don't remember if they played in the playoffs or not, but I think they did, and the Bills won. I think the Bills are just a much better playoff team than the Ravens are, so that's why I'm going to take them by 3. Then we have the Eagles and the Rams. I think the Rams are going to get their revenge on the Eagles this year. Uh, they should have won that matchup last year. Saquon just saved the Eagles' ass. The Rams should have won that. And I don't think lightning strikes twice. I think the Rams are going to get the job done, and they're at home this time, so they should definitely get the job done this time. So I'm going to take the Rams by 4. Then we have the Super Bowl, which is going to be Bills Rams. So this should be a pretty good Super Bowl if it truly does happen. Both teams have pretty solid offenses. Defenses aren't top in the league or anything like that, but good defenses. I think they're both similar teams, so I think that will make for a good matchup. I'll take the Rams by 7. I think it will be a little bit of a shootout. I like both offenses. They're both notorious for big, just chuck it down the field, see what happens, explosive plays like that. So I think the Rams are a little bit better at it. And I think the Rams have a lot more weapons. They just got Devontae Adams. So really no excuses here. I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. So there we go. The champions of the 2025-2026 season are the